So hello friends, I am Neeraj. Hope you are doing great. So this is our application which we have created. So this is running fine, and I think like before moving to the next concepts, next functionalities. So let us complete our contact us form. So this is a this is a boilerplate having all the basic form informations like name, mobile number, and queries. So this is clickable, but when we click on something, so actually nothing fruitful is happening. So the idea, so the reason behind is that this is not tied to a API server. So ideally, so it should have work in this way, that when user clicks on this send button, so we will post all this data, user information, to our API server, and that API server will process this data. Maybe it can save the data into the database or send an email or something, and it will return a response appropriately, whether a success or a failure, something like that. So in this session, so we are actually going to create our API server, and in coming sessions we will connect our API server, our backend API with our front-end application. So in order to create our API server, so we can use either Python, Express, or PHP, so whatever. So we can use any server-side technologies. So but actually I am going to use Golang, so that is my favorite language. So I would like to provide you a little brief about it. So Golang was developed by Google people, and it is a compiled language and a strictly typed language, just like C, C++, or Java. And Golang is such a beautiful thing. So this is very simple to learn, and a very simple language, very simple to use, actually very neat and clean code. And the performance, the speed actually you will achieve using Golang is almost very close to C and C++. So this is why I like Golang very much. So without wasting much time, so let us dive into our terminal, and so let us create a directory, and we will call it React API. We will cd into it, and if you are familiar with Node.js, so in Node.js we create a package.json file, and where we install all the required dependencies. So in Golang, so we have to go with a module. So Golang says it's module, so we will say it go mod init. And in Node.js also we used to write like npm init. So this is just like something like that, something similar, and we will say it github.com/neerajbg, and we will say it React API. And by the way, you can name it anything, so this is up to you. So I prefer to go this way because this is good for identification purpose, so my code is available over there. So just click enter, and it has already created a go.mod file. So we will see that, open the VS Code, and right now in this file is a empty one. So it is saying that this is the module name, and this is using Go version 1.20. And now actually, since we are going to use Fiber, so let us import Fiber also. So we will copy this command and paste it here and hit enter. So it will install all the dependencies, so that we can check. And now if we go to our go.mod file, so it has already installed all the required dependency which this application needs. So we will create our first file, and that is our main.go file, and let us close this thing that is not needed. So this is a package main, and we will start our main function. So every Golang application that must have the main package and the main function, because this main function is the entry point where any Golang application enters. So this is the entry point, and so this is the main function, is the very important function. And before doing anything more, so let us also import our Fiber package, because we are going to use this thing to serve our application. So we will import it like this. So import and like this. And now, just like our Express, actually Fiber is inspired by Express application, so this is very similar actually. So we will create a variable and we will write it Fiber dot new. So actually what we are telling our Golang compiler is that we are creating a app variable, and we are taking a reference of our Fiber application, this package, into this variable. And now we will serve our application. So listen, and just like Node.js, so we have to provide the on which port we are going to listen. So we are going to listen on port 8080. And now we have to create our handler, for the routing information. So we will start with this. So actually here, so this would be a post request. So ideally we should go with the post request. We will create a post handler, and first thing we need to provide the routing. So we will provide the contact, and it takes we need to provide the actual handler. So we will start with this func, and we will pass a Fiber context here, Fiber ctx, and this takes a pointer, and this may return some error. So error like this, and all we have to do is, so any function, any handler that must return something, so I will return something in JSON. That's it. And in JSON we have to pass the variable, so don't worry. So we will create another variable, another map variable. So let's call it context, and we will say it Fiber dot map, and here we will say status, and this is going to be a, let's say, success, and also return some message, maybe MSG, and your query has been or successfully posted. Anything, something meaningful, anything which you can write. So there is no problem. And all we have to do is we have to pass this context into our return state, into our JSON object. And we can also pass the explicit status codes. So we can either pass the numeric values like 200, or we can also use HTTP package, HTTP, and here we can say status OK. Okay, so like this, and yes, one return statement is missing, return keyword is missing. So yes, so now it is perfect. Now if we now it's time to run this application. So let us open our terminal, and here we will say go run main.go. So it has already started our terminal. I started our application, and this application we can test it if we go from if we try to access it on using a GET request. So let us see what happens. So actually it will return an error. So method, no, actually this method is not allowed. So because we have created this method with a post request, so we can test it on via Postman. So I am going to use my Thunder client. So let us write it something like this one, HTTP and localhost port 8080, and route was contact. And since this is going to be a post request, so we will change the method to post, and we will provide the body, and in here we will we will pass on the the JSON data. So name, and let's say name Neeraj, and mobile as, let's say, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and let's send this request to our server, and let us see what happens. So see it. So we have successfully received the response from our API server. So this is working fine. And in the coming session, actually we will connect our API server with our front end application, and so that when user clicks on this send button, so this request will go to our API, this route our API server, and this will process the request and will return some response, which our front end will use it as per its own requirement on functionality. Okay, so that thing we will see in the coming session. And for now, please don't bother too much about all these things. So we will start a new series for Golang also, so where we will learn Golang in piece by piece, in one by one, each and every concepts like data types, variables and functions and all these things. So please have some patience, and till then, take care and happy coding.